Welcome to the We Love Sport Euros podcast. We Love Sport is the sports app for the ultimate sports fanatic. It helps you find the best places to watch the big game, listing all of the live sporting events being shown in pubs, from football to rugby to NFL Sundays and late night boxing. The We Love Sport app will provide answers to these questions and guide you right to a table in time for kickoff. Make sure you download the app today. We are, of course, here today with Rebecca Louise Coles, reporter and producer on football. Rebecca, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You enjoying the football so far? I mean, we're into the tournament now.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. It was a nice little break between, from full-time football to this. I think you needed that break, but it's been a long time coming as well, hasn't it? Like, we've really waited a whole year for this.
And comedian Lew Fitz is back with us as well. Lew, are you enjoying the football?
Enjoying the football and weather. Slightly too hot.
It's a bit too hot. That's the problem with Britain. We want roughly 21 degrees and slightly overcast at all times.
Definitely. And so happy it's back, and I've watched every single game.
And obviously, things really got underway this weekend with England. What did you make of the game?
Really good win. 3 points, if that's still the system now.
Yeah. As far as I understand it, at the moment, you still get 3 points for a win.
Really good performance. Interesting formation. Excited to see what's going to happen, but we got the job done, I think.
Rebecca, Kieran Trippier starting at left back, bit of a curveball. What did you make of that when you saw the team sheet?
It was a strange one, considering we've got two strong left backs in the team. But I just think Gareth Southgate has obviously seen something in training that we haven't. And you kind of just think, well, he's the expert, isn't he? So, yeah, it was a strange one, but I think we got the win, so you kind of have to keep good gob shut, don't you?
And it's a tournament, right? So you go game by game. You've just got to beat the opponent in front of you, and Croatia are probably the best side in the group apart from England. Job done.
Yeah, that's exactly it, I think. Yeah.
And Lew, what did you make of it, that slightly maverick formation?
I think the thing about Trippier is obviously he plays his club football for Atletico Madrid, right? So we don't see him as much in the UK because we're just exposed to generally British football. So maybe did he do that for Atletico? I don't know, but I think Rebecca's right. Something in training must have clicked, and he just said, "Let's do it."
I was particularly impressed with Calvin Phillips as well. I was a bit reticent when I saw him in the starting lineup. I thought he was arguably England's best player on the day. What do you think?
I think his value, it always happens in tournaments, but his value is going to skyrocket. I mean, what a player. My only thought was, so it was Declan Rice behind him, and then he was sort of forward. Do we not have any better forward attacking players than him to shoot, perhaps? But, I mean, man of the match for me, so I guess I'm wrong.
What you mean by that is Jack Grealish, right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Maybe for Scotland we might see him. I hope we do. But yeah, I thought he was good.
And Rebecca, what did you make of Phillips' performance?
Man of the match, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I mean, I think if you looked at the lineup before the game, he was getting a lot of stick. And I think the players know that in the back of their head, don't they, when they get chucked into a team. And I think he wanted to prove a point, and I think he did that.
Yeah.
But I do like the formation, because obviously he played different from what he does from Leeds United, didn't he, with Declan Rice in that kind of defensive, minded midfielder role. That did allow him to press up the pitch, and it worked.
Yeah.
So,
Another person who's getting a lot of stick before the game, Raheem Sterling. He's been in pretty rotten form for the last few months, but he got himself a goal. How important do you think that is for him?
So important. And he's a Wembley-born boy, isn't he? And he preached that before the game in the tweet, didn't he? He put out that tweet saying, I'm from this area. And I think that kind of set the standard. And I think he was another one. He knew he was going to get stick online. He's not had the best season for Man City, but I think he proved his point and he got the goal.
13 goals and 6 assists in his last 17 England appearances, Lew. Does Sterling play better for England than City?
I'm a City fan. So that's why you're asking me. City have like a squad of just studs all over the field, and he's becoming more into the fold. So he's replaceable at City, with everyone we've got on the bench. But for England, I think he's just his experience. We have such an inexperienced squad. We need him there. And plus, I like him because he's got an attitude. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, and although at 60 minutes I was screaming, "Get him off!
Yeah.
Really, get him off! Get him off!" Oh, he scored. I'm an idiot. Fair enough. In Southgate we trust, but I think it was really good for him to get the goal.
Is there anything about the game yesterday that you'd have changed? Obviously, it's a 1-0 win. I didn't think Croatia were that impressive. Is there anything you'd like to see from England?
I would like to see more crosses into the box and pressing. We didn't press enough, so we started the game 20 minutes in, And for me, Harry Kane was quite weak.
Yeah, he's quiet.
And I don't know if that's just because he took up so much attention because he's Harry Kane, and then maybe that made a little bit more room for some of the other players. But I think more pressing, more intensity, because we can tell people you can come off at half time. We have loads of subs and everyone's good. So maybe that, I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, but I think with Harry Kane, everyone expects him to score, don't they?
Yeah.
Unless he scored in the game, we all play FPL right here. So unless he scored, like you dismiss him, but you forget everything else he does on the pitch. You forget that he occupies defenders, and then he also creates space for the other players to, go on and press and score goals. So, if he's not scoring, he kind of gets forgotten about, or we are moaning on social media and saying, he's had a quiet game. It's frustrating for him sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
I looked at Phil Foden as well, and I kind of thought, within 10 minutes, I can't believe I ever debated that this guy should start. Like, he just looks like a different level. He looks like he can make something happen all the time, doesn't he?
Yeah, without a doubt. And he's had a great season for Man City as well, hasn't he? You're a Man City fan, you can big him up.
He's a Stockport Iniesta. I hate his hair, but he's playing well. He played phenomenally as well, him, and he has to start. I think he's got to be one of the first names on the team sheet.
Jude Bellingham came on, 17 years old, the youngest ever player to play in the European Championships for any nation.
Wow.
Is there an argument for him to be starting? I mean, Dortmund take him very seriously.
You're more of an expert than me, but
I watched him when he played for Birmingham. I was at a Bristol City game as well. He is immense, and I talk about him like he's 25 going on 30.
Yeah.
I think we forget he's only 17. 17 years old. I think he should start at some point, but I still think he is young, so you have to protect him as well as trying to get him to get that experience on the pitch. It's one of those arguments, isn't it, really?
He's so young that if he turned up here today, he wouldn't get served. I mean,
wow.
He's literally that young, and he looks like, as you say, a 25-year-old.
Did Birmingham retire his number?
They did retire his shirt, yeah.
For a 16-year-old?
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I would agree with Rebecca. I think he's too young to start. And we're going to know his name for 10 years, 15 years to come. Let's not rush him. He did great when he came on, but when the game's on the line, do I want Jude Bellingham on rather than a fit Henderson or Declan Rice or Calvin after he's had a great game? Probably not.
And Lou, Mason Mount has pretty much become England's Mr. Dependable.
Yeah.
What did you make of him?
Good game. Still hurts watching him kick a ball at Chelsea. But yeah, he had a really good game, did his job well. Again, another really good start from a really good player.
What about the Croatian team? They looked a shadow of the team from the World Cup final.
Yeah, I was a bit... They were flat and they didn't really threaten, so that's why I think the more posturing that we do, like, England had a really good game, but they were really bad, and I think Croatian media would be on them. I'm not sure what it's. They were poor. I thought they were really poor. Didn't give us much to do, but we dealt with what they did give us. So what more can you do?
Well, Rebecca, I looked at that Croatian team when it started. I thought that midfield trio in particular of Kovacic, Modric, and Brozovic. I thought that looks better than what England have, but actually they didn't really offer very much.
No.
On paper, it looked great, didn't it? And I just think we exposed every threat that they did have.
Yeah.
They just didn't really turn up in the end, did they? Which, is that argument. Are England really good or Croatia really bad? But we got the win at the end of the day, so I just think, got to be happy with that, haven't we?
That's pretty much England through, based on this current system. So beating the best team in the group, you are pretty much going through, unless things go disastrously wrong. There's obviously that kind of ominous spectre of we need to finish top, otherwise we'll likely play France. Is that on your mind?
I think a little bit, isn't it?
Only until now.
Yeah.
I just thought about that.
Yeah.
I think when you get to those final stages, whoever you're going to play is good. And to be honest, part of me would rather play France than an unexpected team that we don't know so much about that could just come up and punch us on the nose.
Yeah, obviously that group of death, we're potentially going to play France, Portugal, or Germany. And then, you're starting to realise it might not be coming home.
No, I think it's on a diversion to mainland Europe now.
But you've got to beat the best teams, right, to go through a tournament. That's pretty much how it works.
Yeah, we'll take it when it comes. We've got to beat Scotland. I've got too many Scottish friends. You can't live it down. That's my next focus. Let's just beat them, and then we'll deal with what happens.
That presumably must be a thing for you, because obviously you must go up to Edinburgh, and there must be a few WhatsApps coming in now from the Scottish fans.
Well, I have friends in Glasgow right now, and they're I think they almost know what's going to happen, or they're just happy to be there. But in a sense, that they can still do some damage, just like Wales can.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be far more cagey. That game against Scotland than Croatia. I think, and it's at Wembley as well, isn't it?
Yep. 8 o'clock Friday night, England, Scotland at Wembley.
I'm gigging. I'm so annoyed. I'm gigging. Sorry, that's just me projecting.
Who gigs on a night that England play?
It's a good gig though. I'm going to do it.
You've got to do it.
The rivalry's going to be fierce though, isn't it, I think?
It's huge. I mean, it's that, France, Germany, those are the big games for England. And I don't think it's the first time we played in a tournament since '96, when Gaza scored that goal. I mean, it's going to be special, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a shame there's not going to be more fans in the stadium. I think with more fans, that would be immense, wouldn't it? The atmosphere in the stadium. I think that's the only thing that lets it down that little bit. But I'm really excited for it.
Definitely.
We have to beat them. That's it. It's kind of all on the line, because obviously for them it's a free swing basically.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And if I would be so excited if I was Scottish, because you get free hit on England basically, and it should be a really. As I was saying before, I think we're going to see some Reds, and we've not seen too many. I think we're going to see some Reds.
It's a big call, that is.
Maybe, at least one. Some controversy, because so far I think the officiating's been really good.
Yeah.
So something's going. It's going to kick off, I think, in some way.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love an on-the-pitch brawl and a couple of red cards. There's absolutely, when commentators say we hate to see that, nobody hates to see that. Everybody loves to see that.
As long as nobody gets hurt, it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that Tottenham-Chelsea game a few years ago, the Battle of Stamford Bridge, and that was the most tremendous fun ever, just watching people completely lose their minds. Scotland just played the Czech Republic. They've lost their first game, Lew. I mean, do you expect them to get out of this group?
No, I don't think so. I think what they should be gunning for. Their tournament, I think, but maybe I'm just being like jingoistic and really English, but their tournament should be beating us or having a really good crack at us, because that's bragging rights, isn't it?
Without a doubt.
But they've still got some really, really dangerous players. But when I watched the first half, and a lot of teams have done this, it's really interesting that it's like they've said to the star players for a load of sort of middling teams, Robertson, do what you want. Go up front, go on the wing, doesn't matter, play what you want. Alaba did it for Switzerland. He's playing centre-back.
Yeah.
But then he went and played up front. And Zinchenko did it for Ukraine. He's playing for City. He's barely on the bench.
And he's kind of like their dynamic central midfielder. Yeah.
He's playing centre forward. So it's really interesting to see players in different positions than they would for the clubs.
We say that Andy Robertson, I think, had the most chances on the pitch today for Scotland, pretty much.
But England-Scotland is the oldest international rivalry in the world. The first match took place in 1872. It's Scotland's first tournament since 1998. Do you agree with Lew, Rebecca, that they're here for the party and it should just be trying to beat England?
I think it's a little bit harsh. A little bit harsh.
I like it.
Because I think you've got a lot of quality in that team, and they do deserve to be here as well as every other team. I think Friday they'll give it a good go, because I think after today, I think they'll feel hurt after losing today. And I think it will be maybe a process of a comeback against England.
Yeah.
I think that's the only worry for England now, is that they'll be looking to have a comeback all guns blazing against us.
Let's talk about the game today. A bit of a mixed bag for the keepers. Lobbed from miles off his line, but then also loads of great saves. It's been quite a good tournament for the keepers so far, I think.
Yeah, it really has.
I don't think any have been bad.
No.
Everyone seems to have made a worldie in at least the game. And I know everyone's got a good keeper. They're all good, and they're all. I think, I agree. I'm thinking back. Maybe I've been harsh on Scotland, and I've got Scottish friends, and I'm going up there soon. So maybe I'm backtrack. But I don't know. They can do damage, but I just think that their side has too many sort of championship caliber players to make a real difference. Or they just take the chances, like you said. You know, he had quite a few. Lyndon Dykes had quite a few as well. So totally different game if they scored. Scored one or two.
And after today as well, I mean, I think a lot of people yesterday would have been thinking, okay, Croatia are going to be the other team that go through in the group. Potentially today, maybe thinking it could be the Czechs.
Yeah, they look really strong. Souček had obviously an amazing season for West Ham, and they've got the striker's name. He plays in Germany. I forget his name. Number 10, Stick, I think his name is. Is his name Stick?
We'll go with Stick, yeah.
He scored 2 goals today. He scored a brace today, so he's definitely one to keep an eye on, I think.
It's an interesting group potentially as well. I mean, because it could be any of those other 3 teams that go through. But let's talk about the other games as well. Turkey, Italy, the curtain raiser on Friday night. I was very, very impressed with the Italians. I thought they looked excellent. I've got them as my dark horses to win the tournament. And nothing has changed my mind so far.
Me too, actually. I did think that. I thought Turkey were pretty poor, to be honest.
They were awful.
They were. They really were. I did miss Buffon in goal for Italy, though.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I really felt, when they sing the national anthem, he was always the most emotional, wasn't he? And I did kind of miss him.
Yeah. How old's Buffon now?
Yeah.
He's about 102.
Although, yeah.
Must be mid-40s.
Oh, yeah.
I hope I don't get that wrong.
I can't remember life before Gianluigi Buffon.
No.
Can't either.
No.
I remember him playing, and he was still the most experienced player for Italy when I was a kid. But Donnarumma's a really good goalkeeper as well.
Yeah.
And they've rebuilt. It's taken them ages, haven't
Yeah.
they? It seems to have taken them an age to be the new sort of Italy under Roberto Mancini. Immobile, he looks really, really sharp. I'm excited to see what they can do.
There's a lot of chat before the tournament about Bonucci, Chiellini. Perhaps they're a little bit too old, but actually, that experience really pays off. And I thought, Chiellini was celebrating his block at the end of the game like he'd scored a goal, and I don't think you can replace that experience.
I think it really helps that they're in Italy as well. And did you see the opening ceremony? That was breathtaking, wasn't it? Really.
It was good. For once, it was good.
Yeah. And then both the anthems were really belted out in a really passionate way, which surely brought the crowd into it. And Italy, they're a really dangerous team. But I think also with it probably being that centre-backs pairing's last tournament, they're really going to give it a good go, I think.
Yeah, I thought they looked mightily impressive.
Yeah.
Wales won, Switzerland won. I thought Wales looked pretty drab, to be honest. Didn't really expect much. Nice to see Kiefer Moore get a goal, though. What did you make of the Welsh?
I thought they got a bit lucky, if I'm honest with you. I was expecting a little bit more from them. Kiefer Moore's had a good season, though, so it was nice to see him get the goal. I thought Joe Morale was good as well, because he's had a bit of a tough season at Luton Town. But they were a bit lucky. I just wanted to see a little bit more of Wales, to be honest with you. I was a little bit disappointed.
I think Switzerland would be justified in kind of feeling a little bit hard done by, though, Lou. I thought they were far superior for most of the game.
Yeah, we were talking before the record, but Mbolo, he looks incredible.
Who is this guy?
I looked into him. Schalke sold him for about 9 million.
Really?
Yeah, now he's worth about 23 or something, but he was so impressive. And Wales, they started really well, 20 minutes, and then they just sort of couldn't keep it up. I think it's really tough as well that they played in Azerbaijan.
Yeah, why is this game in Baku?
I wasn't quite, I think that might have played a part because it must have been so hot.
Yeah.
And if they were playing in the Millennium Stadium or, in Switzerland, it could have been a totally different game, but they were lucky to get a point. I really agree with you there.
And you know what I mean? I mean, I get it. It's part of Europe and everybody needs to be included, but it's just not practical. It kind of, it smacks of classic UEFA doing things for the wrong reasons, I can put it delicately.
They did say, because I saw some comments online saying, oh, well, they play in these kind of heats in pre-season, don't they? They should kind of be able to adapt better to things like this. But it is tough. You think with kind of the weather we've had, and also the time